Well, we haven't been over here yet. Ooh, the cathedral. We're in the cathedral. We want nothing but world peace, or a piece of the world. Tee-hee. We want nothing but world peace, or a piece of the world. You might like to stick around for the organ recital. It's a real killer. People wouldn't know what to do with themselves in a truly peaceful world. My, what delicious, delightful looking humans. Okay, obviously these things, people, are not good. That was a good rant. Oh dear, it looks like you could use some food and a place to rest. It does? I'm in a cathedral. And something sparkling. What did you find? I don't know. A hairpin! Hey! That's what, yeah. The crest that they're all talking about. That she guards with her life. Right? Isn't that what that was? Yeah! And they look kinda hot. Oh yeah, we learned something, didn't we? We learned, what's it called? A move. They just bitch slap. And Cyclone, Firewind. Okay. That's right. So again, I've played this game a little bit before. I haven't gotten very far, I've just played the beginning, as I said before. So I do have some idea of mechanics, but I haven't gotten far in this game at all. I'm trying to remember where I was last time I played. I know I've beaten the... Oh, something happened. I think I leveled up. Someone leveled up. I've beaten some dragon. Or a boat. I don't even know what it was. But that was a while ago. The first time that happened, or I fought it. Oh! Oh! Did not see that coming. Oh! Lower thine guard. And... I know who this is. I completely forgot about this. And start allowing that enemy in. Thou'rt here to save the queen? The lair is deep within. Will thee accompany me? A frog? Chrono, it's a talking frog. I hate frogs. My geese doth not inquire thy trust? Very well. Do as thee please, but I shall save the queen. Well, wait! You don't seem like a bad, person, frog thing, I mean, Chrono, what should we do? Gotta go with the frog. It's slippery hands. I'll just have to handle it. Deal with it. Him. What's your name? Frog. What an awful picture. That just looks like a disgusting frog. Frog? My name is Frog. Frog will do. Alright. Nice to meet you, Frog. How would a talking frog talk? I don't know how to do a frog voice. Mayhap a hidden door, or I guess it would be like Kermit the Frog. Mayhap a hidden door lurks nigh. I can't do a Kermit the Frog. A hidden door? Alright. Perhaps a hidden door in the old cathedral, huh? Right here? Is that it? Where is it? That looks like, I mean, it should be like something dead center, right? I didn't know Chrono knew how to play the organ? I guess that would be an organ. We're in the cathedral, right? Found the door. Alright. Let me check on things. This sounds like fighting music. This sounds like fighting music. Ooh, that's an accessory. Can I wear that? This sounds like fighting music. This sounds like fighting music. Alright, making sure that I'm up to date. So if I said no, what does this do? Shows enemies HP. But it makes me slower. Oh, what did that do? I want that. We'll try that out. That makes him really weak. That makes him stronger though. I'll keep the strength. Imagine it would sound like an old lady that's been smoking for 40 years. Next time Mad Bad he talks, I will talk like a 40-year-old woman that's been an old lady that's been smoking for 40 years. Diablos, so I'm fighting devils. And he just did the kick from Super Street Fighters 2. Super Street Fighters 2, to be exact. Dang, Frog's a little OP. Mark. Luca just busted out a hammer. I need to see Luca's move again. Boom. I actually have a story about my first, there's no dialogue going, so I actually have a mini story about, my first Chrono leveled up, time, I'm using, an SD2 SNES, like, cart. This is playing on, like, the original, like, Super Nintendo thing. Speaking of which, wait a second. Me showing the controller up on the screen just reminded me. I have not saved. And knowing my slippery hands, I might mess up. The Queen is gone. Ooh, they have little titles. So I've saved. Back to the cathedral. So my first time realizing when I was in my collecting phase, getting all my, I have to fight this thing. Getting my Super Nintendo collection. I have like over 250 games. I probably have about 300 Super Nintendo games. So when I was first getting into the whole collecting scene, I turned on the music a little bit so it's not distracting me. My first encounter with learning about certain games and prices and why games are expensive, and looking up top 10 videos on why like a certain game is good, or like is it rare, or is it good and rare type of things. And Chrono Trigger, when I was doing all my research, Chrono Trigger, Luca leveled up, was considered one of the greatest RPGs, and like if you are a collector, it's one of those games that you need to have. So I was like, okay, like I'm a kid that's in college. I don't have a lot of money, so I eventually saved up money, and I was like, okay. I looked at the price for Super Nintendo games, because prices of Super Nintendo games, like a good one was between like $30 and $50. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna splurge. I'm one of the people that didn't try to find the Super Nintendo game for super cheap, and are these things I could get? Okay, super cheap, and because I felt like I wasn't going to find a Chrono Trigger anywhere, so I just bit the bullet, and I ended up getting Chrono Trigger at the time its retail value, which was about $70, and I bought it through eBay. So, and $70 for a college kid is expensive, right? You know, that's like that's like 3 weeks worth, a month worth of, you know, beer in college. So I spent $75, you know, about on Chrono Trigger, like the authentic version of it, and I ordered it through the mail, and eventually it ends up showing up to my place, and I'm pumped. I'm like, I just got one of the greatest RPGs like ever made, okay, and I can't wait to play it. Like, you know, I don't just get games, I got a suit to put on the shelf. I want to play them. So I get this game, I pop it in, you know, my Super Nintendo, and it does work, and I'm like, alright, thank God, it works. Here it goes to her. Ooh, man, that gets her strong. Good armor. And I'm like, okay, it works, and I'm playing it. This is my first time I found the secret. I found something. Uh-oh. Hey everyone, humans! Okay. I find it, I'm playing it, and then, you know, I save, and then I turn it off, and I go back to it, my second playthrough, and I eventually, I go to save again, and my save state, it won't let me save. And there's nothing there, so I go to save, and I save, and then it just vanishes right away. And I'm like, what's going on? And it wouldn't let me save. And then eventually, I end up buying one of those screwdrivers to open up the back of like Super Nintendo cartridges, and I open it, and the battery is completely ruined. So I bought this $75 game with a ruined battery that doesn't allow me to save. And I still have that game. I don't want to get rid of it, just because. And I still have it. And I never could play Chrono Trigger. Yeah, it was melted. It, like, the battery melted or something, and it was awful, and I couldn't use it. And eventually, I ended up getting this SD2 SNES cart, and I'm finally able to play Chrono Trigger. And I still have, like, that melted cartridge for Chrono Trigger, and you know, it's just part of my collection. I can't use it. I can't go on this, can I? But it's in my collection. Steel Saber. It sounds like a sword. And it is. So it's still in my collection, and that's, you know, that was what, like, how old am I? 26? That was 5 years ago. I have to fight this thing again. So 5, maybe, yeah, about 5 years ago. 50. Their HP's 50. Exactly 50. Nice. So now I have the chance to play this. It's been a long awaited. It's been 5 years I've wanted to play this. That I kind of took notice of it, and now I have it. And you guys get to join me on the journey. Ooh, I learned another dual tech move, and I got and I tried so hard to play this game without dying because, you know, when I was in college, I wanted to see how far I could get. And the first time I played this game, I was playing really critically, like I couldn't die, or, you know, you start back to where you last saved. That's how, you know, most Super Nintendo games work. So I tried playing this game without dying, and it didn't work. I ended up dying at the big dragon boat thing, and I was so devastated because then I had to replay like all of this that you guys have watched me play so far. Oh, it was so awful. And then I just said, you know, like, F it, I'm not going to play it then. And then eventually, you know, as I started collecting, I started learning more. I feel like collecting in general just kind of became bigger within the last 5 years. Like, really big. No, and yeah, so now I have this, and I'm able to play all my games. Burp. The ones we ate recently weren't so bad. And those two soldiers